Captain Aaron Hale stood on the observation deck of the starship Aurora's Light, staring down at the vibrant planet below. Lumora. The planet glowed with strange shades of green and blue, and rivers of silver light cut across forests that seemed alive even from space. He had traveled for months to reach this distant world, and now he could see the surface teeming with life and promise. "Almost looks unreal," Aaron muttered, adjusting his captain's jacket. The hum of the ship's engines was comforting, a reminder of human engineering and stability. But Lumora was different. It promised unpredictability, mystery, and perhaps the chance to meet a species unlike any humans had ever known. The intercom crackled. "Captain Hale, we are entering orbit. Prepare for descent," the voice of Lieutenant Rena Chen reported. Aaron took a deep breath. "Acknowledged. Prepare the shuttle. I want a full scan of the landing site. No surprises." Moments later, Aaron descended in a small shuttle toward the planet. As the shuttle pierced the upper atmosphere, he marveled at the forests. The trees were taller than anything on Earth, their leaves glowing faintly in neon blues and greens. Strange creatures with long limbs and shining eyes darted across open plains. There was a harmony here, a rhythm that felt alive, like the planet itself was breathing. When the shuttle landed, the doors opened with a hiss. Aaron stepped onto soft glowing moss that seemed to pulse beneath his boots. The air smelled fresh, slightly sweet, with a crispness that reminded him of early morning Earth. He took in his surroundings. The settlement ahead was unlike any city he had seen. Organic structures rose like trees and flowers made of living material blending seamlessly with the forest around them. A figure approached. Tall, slender, with skin that shimmered faintly under Lumora's twin suns. Her hair, a silver cascade, reflected the light, and her eyes were large, luminous, and intelligent. "You must be Captain Aaron Hale," she said, her voice melodic and soothing. Aaron nodded. "That's me." "And you are?" "Lyra," she replied, with a gentle bow. "I will be your guide and host during your stay. Welcome to Lumora." Aaron extended his hand, unsure if she expected the gesture. Lyra smiled faintly and shook it, her touch light but confident. "Humans are curious, aren't you?" she said. "I'd say that's putting it mildly," Aaron replied with a chuckle. Lyra led him through the city, pointing out details. Buildings were alive, growing slowly over years into precise forms. Paths glowed softly, lighting themselves when walked upon. Birds, or something like birds, flew above, leaving streaks of light in their wake. The atmosphere was alive with sound, color, and movement, yet it was peaceful. "Do you live in a place like this?" Aaron asked, awe in his voice. Lyra laughed softly. "We live with it, not in it. Lumora is part of us as much as we are part of it. We care for it and it cares for us." Aaron was fascinated. He had traveled to many worlds, but Lumora was unlike any other. Even the Valari, Lyra's people, were striking. Tall, graceful, with a natural elegance, yet there was strength in their posture, a quiet confidence that spoke of a species deeply attuned to their world. "You will stay in a guest dwelling tonight," Lyra said. "It is customary for newcomers to experience a Valari night. You will see our customs, our ways of sharing space and trust." Aaron raised an eyebrow. "A Valari night? I'm curious, but I don't know what to expect." Lyra's smile widened. "That is the point. Trust me. You will understand soon enough." The guest dwelling was a dome-like structure, soft and warm, made of materials that seemed alive. The walls shimmered slightly, reacting to Aaron's presence. Inside, the air was comfortable, almost soothing, and soft glowing lights floated like fireflies. There were no rigid chairs or tables, only smooth surfaces and gentle curves, all designed for comfort and harmony. Lyra gestured toward a soft resting area. "This is where we spend our nights. We sleep close to one another. It is a sign of trust and connection." Aaron paused. He had expected alien hospitality, but this was unusual. "Close? How close?" he asked, his voice careful. Lyra shrugged. lightly as if it were the most natural thing in the universe. Close enough to share warmth, close enough to understand one another without words. Aaron considered her words. It was different, yes, but not threatening. The way she spoke was calm, sincere, and patient. He felt a strange sense of reassurance. "All right," he said finally. "I'll try it. I want to understand your culture fully." Lyra's eyes sparkled. "Good. That is all we ask." They settled in, the soft, moss-like bedding adjusting to their forms. Lyra moved closer, careful to respect boundaries, yet maintaining the Valari custom of proximity. Aaron noticed that being near her was not uncomfortable. On the contrary, it was oddly calming, as if the closeness carried a gentle trust that words could not convey. "This is how we connect," Lyra explained, softly. "It is not romantic in the way humans think. It is about knowing another being's presence, feeling their rhythm and energy. You will understand better with time." Aaron nodded, feeling a subtle shift within him. He had seen many species, learned many customs. But this was something new. It was about empathy, about openness, about shared understanding without speaking. Outside, the twin suns set, casting a soft glow over the dome. The sounds of the forest, the rustle of leaves, the hum of unseen creatures, the gentle glow of bioluminescent plants filled the air. Aaron closed his eyes briefly, letting the sensations wash over him. Lumora was alive, vibrant, and endlessly fascinating. Lyra's voice interrupted his thoughts. "Do you feel it? The world itself is part of us, and we are part of it. That is why we sleep close. That is why we share space. It is a trust that binds us together, as a family, as a community, as a species." Aaron felt a warmth spread through him. It was not just physical. It was something deeper. He was beginning to sense what Lyra meant, beginning to understand the subtle beauty of this alien culture. He glanced at her. Lyra was patient, kind, and intelligent. She had shown him this custom without pressure, without expectation, only offering the opportunity to understand. For the first time on this mission, Aaron felt he was not just observing an alien species, he was participating in it, becoming part of it, even if just for a night. The night deepened. Stars appeared in the sky above the dome, shining like diamonds against the deep blue of Lumora's atmosphere. Aaron listened to the gentle rhythm of life outside and inside, feeling a strange harmony settle within him. Lyra moved slightly closer. "It is customary on my planet to sleep this close," she said softly. Then, carefully, she wrapped her arms around him in a gesture of trust. Aaron tensed for a moment, but the tension melted as he realized the simplicity and purity of the act. There was no expectation, no hidden meaning beyond the Valari custom. It was about connection, about shared experience, about understanding a life unlike his own. He allowed himself to relax, feeling the calm energy that Lyra radiated. For the first time, he felt truly at peace on this alien world. The customs, though strange, were beautiful. The Valari were open-hearted, intelligent, and deeply connected to their world, and Aaron was beginning to feel that connection too. As sleep approached, Aaron realized that this night would not be like any other he had experienced. It was a lesson in empathy, trust, and understanding. A reminder that humans could connect across species and cultures, that courage was not only an exploration, but also an openness to new ways of living and being. Outside, Lumora glowed softly, under the twin moons, a planet alive with wonder. Inside the dome, a human and a Valari shared the night, learning, trusting, and connecting in a way that transcended words. For Captain Aaron Hale, this was only the beginning of his journey, but it was already a journey that would change him forever. Captain Aaron Hale awoke to a soft, warm light that filled the Valari guest dwelling. The walls shimmered faintly as though greeting the new day, and the air smelled fresh, carrying the scent of bioluminescent flowers that grew just outside the dome. Lumora's twin suns were rising, casting delicate rays through the translucent walls, painting the room in shades of gold and teal. Lyra was already awake, sitting near the entrance, her posture relaxed but alert. Her silver hair shimmered in the morning light, and her luminous eyes reflected a quiet intelligence that had fascinated Aaron the night before. She smiled at him. "Good morning, Captain," she said softly. "Did you sleep well?" Aaron stretched and yawned, feeling more rested than he had in weeks. "Better than I expected," he admitted. "Your customs, they're different, but I think I understand the purpose." Lyra nodded. "Different, yes. But every species has a way of expressing trust. For us, sharing space closely, especially during rest, strengthens the bonds between beings. It is not just physical comfort. It is emotional and mental connection. It is how we know each other deeply." Aaron listened, carefully. He remembered the night before, the gentle warmth of her presence, the calm reassurance that came from the Valari way of connecting. He realized it was not intrusive. It was intentional, meaningful, and entirely respectful. "Would you like to see more of our morning routines?" Lyra asked. "There are things that humans might not expect." Curiosity piqued. Aaron nodded. "I'd like that very much." Lyra led him outside. The morning air was crisp yet not cold, with a gentle breeze carrying the faint hum of the forest. The Valari city was awakening. Trees and buildings seemed to breathe with the residents, shifting slightly as the inhabitants moved. Paths glowed softly as they sensed footsteps approaching, and the bioluminescent flora brightened, creating a pathway that shimmered like liquid light. "Watch," Lyra whispered, pointing at a nearby plaza. A group of Valari stood in a circle, eyes closed, hands gently touching one another's shoulders. Their bodies emitted a soft glow, and Aaron noticed a subtle rhythm in the energy between them. It was as if they were communicating without words, sharing thoughts and feelings through some innate connection. "What are they doing?" Aaron asked. "This is our morning bonding," Lyra explained. "We call it Lumerin. It is a way to begin the day with clarity, focus, and mutual understanding. Humans might use meditation or conversation, but we use touch and presence. It is a silent language of connection." Aaron watched as the circle's glow shifted, ebbing and flowing like a tide. He could almost feel the warmth radiating from them, a subtle comfort that made the air itself seem lighter. There was a harmony in their movements, an understanding that transcended language. "It looks beautiful," he admitted. "I've never seen anything like it." Lyra smiled. "You will learn more. Come, I want to show you something else." They walked through the city, past waterfalls that glowed with phosphorescent light, past bridges that curved naturally over rivers of shimmering water, and finally to a place where the trees themselves formed a natural amphitheater. Lyra motioned for him to sit on a soft, moss-like surface. "This is where we share knowledge," she said. "Every Valari participates. We pass on information, history, and personal experiences in a communal way. It is how we grow together as a species. You may join if you wish." Aaron hesitated for a moment. Sharing personal experiences in front of an alien species seemed daunting, but Lyra's calm presence reassured him. He nodded. A Valari elder approached, their glow faint but steady. "Welcome, human traveler," the elder said, their voice melodic. "You are here to learn and to understand. Do you wish to share your story?" Aaron took a deep breath. I am a human explorer. I have traveled across the stars to learn about other species, to see what the universe has to offer, and to build understanding between our people and others. I am honored to be here." The elder nodded approvingly. Lyra gently placed her hand on Aaron's shoulder, a Valari gesture of encouragement. He felt the warmth and openness of the touch, a reminder that he was welcome, that his presence was fruta. The elder began speaking of the Valari history, how their species had evolved to live in harmony with Lumora, how they learned empathy and connection as survival, and how they developed a culture that prized trust, understanding, and shared experience above all. As Aaron listened, he began to notice patterns. The Valari ways were logical, practical, and yet profoundly beautiful. Their customs were not mere tradition, they were strategies for survival, growth, and harmony. They were lessons humans could learn from, even on Earth. After the sharing, Lyra led him deeper into the forest. "There is one more thing I want you to experience," she said. They arrived at a natural pool, the water glowing faintly with bioluminescence. The air was warmer here, humid, and filled with the scent of wildflowers. Lyra gestured for him to sit at the edge. "In Valari culture, we spend time in quiet together. It strengthens empathy and understanding. We do not need words, just presence is enough." Aaron glanced at her. She sat close, but not too close. Her energy radiated calm and openness. Slowly, he realized that he could feel her thoughts in a way, not as words but as emotions, rhythm, and intent. It was subtle but undeniable. "You feel it?" Lyra asked softly. "Yes," he admitted. "It's strange, but not unpleasant. It's like I can understand you without speaking." "That is the purpose," Lyra said. "To share understanding. To connect beyond words. You humans have something similar, but you rarely practice it fully. Here, it is a way of life." The day continued with gentle exploration. Aaron learned how the Valari built their homes from living plants, how they cultivated food without harming the forest, and how their culture emphasized collective growth and empathy. By late afternoon, a subtle tremor shook the ground. Aaron noticed it immediately. The forest seemed to shiver in response. "What is that?" he asked. Lyra's expression turned serious. "A forest quake. Rare, but possible. Follow me." They hurried back to the city. Structures swayed slightly, but the Valari moved with calm purpose. Humans and Valari alike worked together to stabilize areas. Aaron's human ingenuity proved useful. He suggested temporary supports and guided those unfamiliar with Valari methods. The crisis passed, leaving minor damage but no casualties. The Valari smiled, calm and composed. "Your assistance was invaluable," Lyra said. "You adapted quickly, and that is a human strength we admire." Aaron felt a swell of pride. He realized that despite differences in culture, humans and Valari could work together, combining intuition, innovation, and empathy. This was not just survival. It was growth, understanding, and trust in action. As night fell again, they returned to the guest dwelling. Aaron's thoughts were full of what he had learned. The Valari ways, their closeness, their rituals. It was not about control or intrusion, but about connection, trust, and shared purpose. Lyra approached him quietly. "Tonight you may sleep close again if you wish," she said. Aaron nodded. "I'd like that. I think I'm beginning to understand more." As they settled, Lyra spoke softly, repeating the words from the night before. "It's custom on my planet to sleep this close." She wrapped her arms around him again, gentle, careful, and reassuring. This time, Aaron felt a deeper understanding. He no longer saw it as strange or uncomfortable. He recognized it as a gesture of trust, a demonstration of the Valari philosophy. Connection is strength, empathy is wisdom, and understanding transcends species. The night passed peacefully. Aaron drifted into sleep, aware of the presence beside him, feeling a profound sense of calm and acceptance. He dreamed not just of Lumora, but of the potential of humans, of what they could learn from other species and what they could offer in return. Lumora's twin moons cast gentle light through the dome, illuminating two beings, human and Valari, sharing a moment of mutual respect, curiosity, and trust. For Aaron, it was more than a night of rest. It was the beginning of a journey into understanding, connection, and the realization that humans were capable of forming bonds that could reach across the stars. Captain Aaron Hale awoke to a soft humming sound. At first he thought it was coming from the dwelling, but soon realized it was within his own mind. He opened his eyes to see the gentle glow of Lumora's twin moons still visible through the translucent dome. Yet the light was dim, filtered by drifting mists that curled like smoke. The sensation was unusual. He felt weightless, almost floating, as though the dwelling itself had transformed into a space between dreams and reality. Lyra slept peacefully beside him, her breathing slow and steady. But it was not her that drew his attention. It was the visions. Aaron saw forests stretching endlessly, glowing rivers winding through alien terrain, and the Valari themselves moving in harmony with the land. He felt as if he were walking among them, not as a visitor, but as one of their own. The images were vivid, not just visual, but emotional. He could sense the pride, patience, and empathy of the Valari. A voice echoed in his mind, gentle yet commanding. Learn. Understand. Feel. Aaron blinked and realized he was witnessing the history of Lumora itself. He saw the first Valari, small and fragile, struggling to survive in a wild and dangerous world. He saw them learning to cooperate, to share knowledge, and to cultivate the forests instead of harming them. Each lesson they learned was etched into their very essence, passed from generation to generation, until the Valari became a species deeply connected to their planet. He felt the struggles and triumphs of their ancestors as if they were his own. When the first Valari learned to trust each other, he could feel the relief and joy in their hearts. When they discovered the forest could communicate subtly, guiding them toward safe paths, he felt wonder and amazement. The dream shifted. Aaron now saw Lyra's people teaching one another to communicate not just with words but with touch, presence, and subtle energy. He understood why the Valari slept close, why they shared personal space without hesitation. It was not merely tradition, it was a survival mechanism, a method to ensure trust, understanding, and empathy were never lost. A faint jolt startled him awake. Aaron opened his eyes to find he was back in the dome, the faint glow of morning breaking through. Lyra stirred beside him, her eyes opening slowly. "You are awake," she said softly. "Did you sleep well?" Aaron nodded, though his mind still lingered in the visions. "It was different. I saw your history, your people. I think I understand now. Your customs, your ways. They are about connection, survival, and empathy." Lyra smiled. "Yes, you felt what we feel, Captain. That is the beauty of our bond. Even if our bodies are different, even if our languages are not the same, connection is universal." Aaron took a deep breath, letting the words settle. He realized that humans could learn much from the Valari. Their culture, though alien, had elements that Earth might benefit from: cooperation, empathy, respect for nature, and understanding across differences. The day began with a gentle walk through the city. The Valari were calm, yet purposeful. Citizens moved in small groups, exchanging information, energy, and warmth. Aaron noticed how their presence affected him. Even brief contact, touching a hand or exchanging a nod, brought a subtle clarity, a sense of mutual understanding. Lyra guided him to a research facility where Valari scholars studied Lumora's natural phenomena. Bioluminescent plants, energy currents, and even the flowing rivers were subjects of their study. Aaron was fascinated. They had not just learned to live in harmony with the planet, they were actively decoding its secrets to ensure balance and growth. "Your people are incredible," Aaron said, examining a glowing plant that responded to his touch. "You are so connected to everything around you." "Humans could learn so much from this," Lyra nodded. "And humans have strengths we do not. Innovation, adaptability, resilience. That is why we value your presence. You see differently, and together, we can achieve more than either species, alone." Aaron felt a surge of pride. He realized the HFY truth. Humanity's adaptability and courage could complement even the most advanced species. The Valari's connection to their world, combined with human ingenuity, could achieve great things. As the day progressed, the forest trembled again. This time the movement was subtle but unmistakable, a forest quake. Aaron felt the vibrations, through the ground, and instinctively reached for Lyra's hand. Stay close, she said calmly. We will move to safety together. The Valari moved swiftly, guiding residents and stabilizing structures. Aaron followed their lead, combining his human problem-solving skills with their knowledge of the forest. He suggested temporary supports for vulnerable dwellings and coordinated groups to redirect energy flows. Despite the danger, there was no panic. The Valari's trust in each other and in their environment created a calm order. Aaron felt a deep admiration for them. They did not fear the quake. They adapted, coordinated, and responded with intelligence and empathy. After the tremors subsided, Lyra turned to him. You did well, Captain. You adapted quickly, offering ideas and solutions that worked in harmony with our methods. That is rare, even among our people. Aaron felt a warmth in his chest. Thank you, but I could not have done it without you guiding me. Lyra smiled softly. It is mutual learning. We share knowledge, and you share perspective. That is how bonds are built. That is how understanding grows. As night approached, the city recovered. The Valari celebrated quietly, not with loud ceremonies, but with sharing of stories and gentle reflection. Aaron observed as groups gathered, exchanging insights about the quake, discussing what they had learned, and planning improvements. It was a society built not on fear or hierarchy, but on trust, knowledge, and collaboration. Lyra led Aaron back to the dwelling. Tonight you may sleep as you did before, she said. Her eyes held a gentle warmth. It is not required, but it helps deepen understanding and connection. Aaron nodded. He felt no hesitation. He had learned something profound today. Closeness was not about intrusion. It was about trust, empathy, and shared experience. As they settled, Lyra spoke softly, almost as if reminding herself as much as him. It is customary on my planet to sleep this close. Then she wrapped her arms around him again. Aaron exhaled slowly. He felt not just warmth, but clarity. The night was no longer merely rest. It was part of the learning, part of the understanding, part of the journey. He could feel the energy of Lumora, the calm strength of the Valari, and the subtle rhythm of connection that bound them all together. He closed his eyes, letting the sensations guide him into dreams. This time, the visions were not just history, they were lessons. He saw humans and Valari working together, building structures that blended technology and nature, healing forests while expanding their understanding of the universe. He saw humans adapting Valari methods, learning empathy and observation in ways previously unimaginable. And he saw Valari embracing human ingenuity, understanding that other species brought strengths that could complement their own. Aaron realized something profound. Humanity had a place in the cosmos, not as conquerors, but as collaborators, innovators, and learners. The potential of humans was vast, not because of strength alone, but because of courage, curiosity, and adaptability. The night deepened. The twin moons glowed softly, casting gentle shadows through the dome. Aaron felt peace, understanding, and hope. Lumora had shown him that connection, trust, and shared experience were universal values. He drifted deeper into sleep, ready to face whatever the planet and its people would teach him next. For Captain Aaron Hale, this night was more than rest. It was a lesson, a promise, and a reminder. Humans could adapt, learn, and thrive, even on worlds far from home. And through understanding, empathy, and courage, they could touch the stars in ways that were meaningful, honorable, and truly human. The morning light of Lumora filtered softly through the living walls of the Valari city, painting everything in shades of gold and teal. Captain Aaron Hale rose from the soft, moss-like bedding, feeling rested and alert. Last night's dreams lingered. In his mind, and the lessons of the Valari, trust, empathy, and understanding, were clearer than ever. Lyra was already waiting for him at the entrance. "Good morning, Captain," she said, her luminous eyes reflecting a calm warmth. "Today is important. I want you to see how we grow stronger together, as a community." Aaron nodded, curious. He had already learned much, but the promise of further understanding excited him. "Lead the way," he said. They walked through the city, past glowing waterfalls and bridges of living wood, toward a large open space where Valari citizens were gathering. The area was shaped like a natural amphitheater, with soft moss covering the ground and bioluminescent plants providing gentle light. "This is the Hall of Unity," Lyra explained. "Here, we honor those who contribute to our community, who act with courage, wisdom, and empathy. Today, we are celebrating a recent challenge, the forest quake, and our response to it." Aaron's eyes widened. "You celebrate natural disasters?" he asked in surprise. Lyra shook her head gently. "Not the disaster itself, but the strength we showed together, how we adapted, helped one another, and learned. It is recognition of growth, courage, and unity. Human cultures could learn much from this." As the ceremony began, Aryan noticed humans and Valari side by side. Small groups exchanged ideas, shared stories, and recounted how they had worked together during the quake. Valari energy glowed softly around them, but there was no intimidation, only warmth and acknowledgement. Lyra guided Aaron to a spot among the participants. "This is a ritual of connection," she explained. "We sit close, share space, and listen. Understanding comes not just from words, but from presence. You may participate fully." Aaron hesitated only briefly before joining the circle. The soft, moss-like surface welcomed him, and as he settled, he felt a subtle warmth radiating from those around him. It was not intrusive, it was reassuring, a gentle reminder that he was part of the community, even as a visitor. The Valari began to share. Each spoke softly, describing their experiences during the quake, how they had stabilized structures, guided citizens, and adapted to unexpected challenges. Humans in the circle added their perspectives as well, explaining how technology and ingenuity had complemented Valari methods. Aaron felt proud but also humbled. The Valari were remarkable, yet they welcomed humans as equals in thought and effort. It was not superiority or competition that guided them, but collaboration, empathy, and trust. After the stories, Lyra spoke. "Captain Hale, you showed courage and intelligence. You adapted quickly and helped us in ways that strengthened our community. That is why you are honored today." Aaron felt a warm glow of recognition. "Thank you, Lyra. I am honored to be part of this." Lyra smiled and placed her hand lightly on his shoulder, a Valari gesture of respect and acknowledgement. He felt the warmth, calm, and connection, realizing that gestures, touch, and presence could communicate far more than words alone. The ceremony concluded with a quiet reflection. Everyone sat, breathing together, feeling the rhythm of the city, the forest, and each other. Aaron closed his eyes, sensing the energy flowing around him. It was a rhythm of life, trust, and unity, a harmony that transcended species. Afterward, Lyra led Aaron to a high observation deck overlooking the city. Below, the glowing forest stretched endlessly, rivers of light winding through the trees, and the bioluminescent city pulsing gently with energy. "See how everything is connected?" Lyra asked. "The forests, the rivers, the buildings, the people, all linked. That is why we value trust and closeness. Every action affects others. Every thought and choice carries weight. That is how we survive, thrive, and grow stronger." Aaron nodded slowly. "It's remarkable. Your culture, your connection to the planet. It's something humans can learn from." Lyra's eyes glimmered. "And humans have strengths we admire: creativity, problem-solving, courage. Your adaptability complements our understanding. Together we can do much more than alone." As the day progressed, Aaron and Lyra visited parts of the city previously unknown to him. They explored research centers where Valari studied the planet, learning to predict natural changes, enhance growth, and maintain harmony. Humans contributed ideas for safety measures, stabilization techniques, and environmental tools. The combination of Valari insight and human ingenuity created solutions neither species could have achieved alone. During a quiet moment, Lyra turned to him. "Captain, do you understand now why we sleep close, share space, and connect in ways that might feel unusual to humans?" Aaron reflected. "Yes, it's about trust, presence, and understanding. It's about forming bonds that are stronger than words alone. I think I've begun to understand your philosophy." Lyra smiled softly. "Good. That understanding is the first step toward true collaboration. The universe is vast, but connection makes it smaller, warmer, and full of possibility." Later, they returned to the dwelling for the night. Arine noticed a sense of anticipation among the Valari. Today had been more than a lesson. It had been a test of adaptability, courage, and understanding. And in their way, the Valari celebrated his growth as well. As they settled on the soft, moss-like bedding, Lyra spoke gently. "It is customary on my planet to sleep close. Would you like to continue?" Aaron nodded without hesitation. "Yes, I understand more now than yesterday. I feel part of this world, part of this community." Lyra moved closer, wrapping her arms around him. There was no pressure, no expectation, only presence, warmth, and trust. Aaron felt a calm energy, the steady rhythm of connection that the Valari valued so highly. "Tonight," Lyra whispered, "you are not just observing. You are participating. That is the meaning of our customs. Presence, empathy, trust." Aaron let himself relax completely. For the first time on Lumora, he felt that human strength, curiosity, courage, and adaptability was not separate from Valari ways but complemented them. Together they could create something greater than either species alone. He drifted into sleep, feeling the energy of the city, the forest, and the people around him. The dreams this night were not lessons in history, but visions of possibilities. He saw humans and Valari working together to build structures that blended technology and nature, to heal damaged forests while advancing understanding, and to explore the stars while respecting every life they touched. Aaron realized the profound truth of HFY. Humans were capable of connection, innovation, and courage that could transcend boundaries, cultures, and species. They could be explorers, not just of space but of understanding, empathy, and collaboration. As the night deepened, Lumora glowed softly under the twin moons. The forest whispered with life, rivers pulsed with gentle light, and the city hummed with quiet energy. Inside the dome, a human and a Valari shared a moment of trust, presence, and understanding. It was more than sleep. It was a lesson, a promise, and a bridge between two species. For Captain Aaron Hale, this day had been transformative. He had faced challenges, adapted, learned, and discovered the strength that comes from unity and trust. And he understood, now more than ever, that humans had a place among the stars, not as conquerors, but as collaborators, learners, and bearers of courage and ingenuity. Tomorrow would bring more lessons, more discoveries, and perhaps new challenges. But for tonight, he felt a deep connection, not just to Lyra, or to the Valari, or to Lumora, but to the idea that humanity could rise, adapt, and thrive wherever curiosity and courage led them. The twin suns of Lumora rose slowly over the horizon, casting long golden shadows across the glowing forest. Captain Aaron Hale stood on the observation deck of the Valari guest dwelling, taking in the view one last time. The city below shimmered, softly with bioluminescent light, the rivers of energy flowing like silver threads through the trees. Everything felt alive, interconnected, and harmonious. Lyra appeared beside him, her presence calm and radiant. "You are ready to leave, Captain?" she said softly, her luminous eyes reflecting the sunlight. Aaron nodded, a mix of pride and melancholy in his heart. "Yes, I am ready, but I will miss this place. I will miss your people. I've learned so much here." Lyra smiled. And we have learned from you. Humans bring courage, creativity, and perspective that complement our ways. Your presence has reminded us of the value of collaboration beyond species. Aaron glanced down at the city. One last time. The Valari moved with purpose, their daily routines continuing seamlessly. Yet he knew the impact of his time here would remain. The trust, understanding, and cooperation he had experienced were lessons he would carry forever. Before leaving, Lyra handed him a small glowing token, cradled in her delicate hands. Its light pulsed softly like a heartbeat. This is a symbol of trust and friendship, she explained. It carries the energy of Lumora, the bond between our species, and the hope for future collaboration. Keep it with you, Captain Hale. It will remind you that connection transcends distance, culture, and even species. Aaron took the token carefully, feeling the warmth of its energy. Thank you, Lyra. I will treasure it. He looked at her, feeling the depth of their shared experiences, the nights of trust, the lessons of empathy, and the challenges they had faced together. I hope humans and Valari can continue to learn from each other. Lyra's eyes sparkled, with quiet approval. We will, Captain, and one day you may return. Lumora will welcome you again. The shuttle was ready. Aaron stepped inside, glancing once more at the city, the forests, and the glowing rivers. The forest shimmered with life as if acknowledging his presence and wishing him well. He thought of the nights spent learning Valari customs, the gentle closeness that had built trust, and the lessons of adaptation and courage. As the shuttle lifted off, he looked at Lyra standing on the observation platform, her form bathed in the soft glow of the rising suns. For a brief moment their eyes met, and no words were needed. The bond they had formed, through trust, understanding, and shared experience, was complete. During the journey back to the starship, Aaron reflected on his time on Lumora. Humans had always been explorers, reaching for the stars and seeking knowledge. But he realized something deeper. Exploration was not just about discovering new worlds. It was about learning, connecting, and growing through understanding others. The visions of Lumora's history, the dreams of the Valari ancestors, and the experiences of the past days had changed him. He understood now that human courage, empathy, and adaptability were strengths that could unite species across the galaxy. Lyra's words echoed in his mind. The universe is vast, but connection makes it smaller, warmer, and full of possibility. The Miu shuttle docked with the starship, and Aaron took one last look at Lumora. The glowing forests, the rivers of light, and the Valari city shimmered in the distance. He knew this was not the end. It was the beginning of something greater. Back aboard, the Aurora's light, Aaron held the glowing token in his hand. He could feel the energy of Lumora, the trust of the Valari, and the promise of continued friendship. He stored the token carefully, knowing it was more than a gift. It was a reminder of what humanity could achieve through empathy, courage, and collaboration. As the starship left Lumora's orbit, Aaron reviewed the mission report. He noted the cultural insights, technological lessons, and environmental practices of the Valari. But more importantly, he recorded the HFY lesson. Humans could adapt, understand, and thrive in ways that complemented other species, creating bonds that went beyond words. Weeks passed as the ship traveled back toward human space. Aaron continued to reflect on Lumora. He shared the experiences with his crew, emphasizing what they had learned about trust, collaboration, and empathy. The crew listened intently, realizing that this mission had not only expanded human knowledge of the galaxy, but had also expanded the human understanding of themselves. One evening, Aaron sat alone in the observation deck, holding the glowing token. He remembered Lyra's smile, her calm reassurance, and the lessons of closeness and trust. He realized that humanity's strength was not just in exploration or technology, but in courage, curiosity, and the willingness to connect with the unknown. Suddenly, the token pulsed more brightly. Aaron felt a warmth spread through him, a subtle message from Lumora, as if the planet and its people were reminding him that their connection endured, even across the vast distances of space. He smiled. Humanity was ready. They had the courage to face the unknown, the intelligence to learn from it, and the empathy to build bonds that transcended species. Humans were not just explorers, they were collaborators, innovators, and ambassadors of understanding. The weeks passed quickly, and the familiar blue and green sphere of Earth grew larger in the viewport. Aaron felt anticipation, not just for homecoming, but for sharing what he had learned. The lessons of Lumora, the trust, unity, and collaboration of the Valari, would influence human culture, exploration, and diplomacy for years to come. When the ship finally landed, Aaron was greeted by his fellow humans. Reports awaited, interviews and debriefings. Yet in his mind he carried more than data. He carried the lessons of Lumora, the energy of the Valari, and the reminder that connection and empathy were as vital as courage and knowledge. Later, in private, Aaron held the glowing token one last time. It pulsed softly in his hand, a heartbeat of another world. He spoke quietly, as if Lyra were beside him. "Thank you, Lyra. Thank you, Lumora. I will carry this with me, always. Humanity will not forget." And he knew it was true. Humans were explorers not only of space but of understanding. They could build bridges across worlds, form bonds with other species, and learn that strength was more than force. It was empathy, courage, and the willingness to grow together. Aaron looked out at the stars, imagining Lumora's glowing forests and the Valari city beneath its twin suns. Somewhere far away, Lyra might be gazing at the night sky as well, thinking of him. And in that silent, unspoken connection, Aaron felt hope. Not just for humans, but for the future of all species capable of trust, understanding, and unity. The journey of Captain Aaron Hale had begun with curiosity and duty, but it had ended with something deeper, a lesson in humanity's true potential. Not the potential to conquer, but the potential to connect, collaborate, and rise together. As Earth grew nearer, Aaron knew that Lumora would remain in his heart forever, a glowing reminder that humans were not alone in the galaxy. And in the bead-eye, vast endless stars they could shine, not just with technology or power or skill, but with courage, empathy, and connection. Captain Aaron Hale smiled, holding the glowing token close. The adventure was complete, but the journey had only just begun. Humanity was ready. The universe awaited.